Do you know who's back in town? Fuentes asked as the last of their guests disappeared into the night. The mansion had finally fallen quiet. Leonardo loosened his cufflinks, glancing over at her. She stood across the room, still flawless, still composed, wrapped in an expensive evening gown, diamonds resting effortlessly against her skin. Who? He asked. Matteo, she replied coldly. That loser. Leonardo paused. Yeah, I heard. Word is he's back for good. Fuentes turned slowly, her eyes locking onto his. For good? She repeated, stepping toward him. And no one thought to tell me? I didn't think it was necessary, Leonardo said calmly. She let out a dry laugh. Not necessary? Her voice sharpened. You, of all people, didn't think it was necessary to tell me that a snitch is back in town? Can you hear yourself, Leonardo? He stepped closer, placing both hands gently on her shoulders, trying to soften the moment. You looked incredible tonight, he said quietly. Everyone noticed. Men, women. They couldn't stop talking about you. Fuentes didn't react. I thought he disappeared after what he did, Leonardo continued. After the betrayal. Don't, she cut in, pulling away from him. I'm not in the mood. He reached for her again, but she stepped back. Get yourself together, Leonardo, she snapped. You're getting soft. On your men. On your business. What's wrong with wanting a moment with my wife? He replied, frustration creeping in. I just wanted us to celebrate tonight. She stared at him, unimpressed. After what Matteo did, she said slowly, he doesn't get a second chance. A beat. Either you deal with him, or I will. Her tone dropped, quiet, deadly. And you know exactly how that ends if I do it myself. Leonardo said nothing. Fuentes moved past him, her voice trailing behind her like a warning. He stole from us, and then ran to the authorities. She stopped at the doorway without turning back. That kind of betrayal doesn't come back into my city. Without consequences.
Welcome to episode 1 of this story titled, Lady Fuentes, the woman behind the throne. To the outside world, she was simply Señora Fuentes, a devoted wife, a graceful hostess, a generous philanthropist, a mother of 3, 2 sons raised to inherit power, and a daughter raised to understand it. She moved through high society with effortless poise, charity galas, political dinners, fashion events, always impeccably dressed, always composed. Her presence alone commanded attention, but never suspicion. That was by design, because the truth was far more dangerous. Behind closed doors, Lady Fuentes was not just part of the empire. She was the one who understood it. Where her husband Leonardo built alliances, she studied weaknesses. Where others reacted, she anticipated. Where men ruled with ego, she ruled with iron fist and unforgettable memory. With her karma never loses the address of her offenders. She remembered everything. Who owed loyalty, who hesitated in critical moments, who smiled too quickly, or not at all. She didn't raise her voice often. She didn't need to. Her authority lived in precision, the kind that made people nervous without knowing why. Hers was a different kind of power. Unlike the men around her, Lady Fuentes didn't confuse violence with control. Violence was a tool, control was permanence. She believed in structure, discipline, and consequences, not chaos. Her moral code was strict, almost unsettling. Loyalty was absolute. Betrayal was irreversible. Weakness, if tolerated, became infection. That's what made her dangerous. She didn't act out of emotion, she acted out of principle. Her marriage Leonardo wasn't built on affection alone. It was built on alignment. She sharpened him, corrected him, protected the empire from his blind spots, and when necessary, she overruled him, quietly, as a mother. Her children never saw the full extent of who she was, but they felt it, in the way she corrected them with a look, in the expectations she never lowered, in the discipline that shaped their thinking, not just their behavior. She wasn't just raising children, she was raising successors and survivors. The core truth. Lady Fuentes did not seek power. She assumed responsibility for it. Because in her world, power left unattended didn't disappear, it was taken. and she had no intention of letting anything be taken from her again. To be continued in episode 2.